This is huge. I told my parents to come today because I knew it was just going to be me and them, and I thought I can't give the talk to myself. So this is really impressive, and I'm super psyched this many people are here. My mom is petite. Let her come in the front. This is my mom. Where's my dad? All right, we're going to do a picture. Quick.
Smile. Love it.
Oh, thank you. So the other night was so exciting because there was like over 325 people that came through, and the one thing I heard consistently the whole night is, I've never been in here before. And I can't tell you how thrilling that is because you can drive by it or hear about it or whatever, but until you get inside to see the potential of the space, this is going to be an incredible landmark for Burlington, and it has resonated with me so deeply that I've wanted to do these paintings, now 2 series of them. And I feel like getting you all in here, I think most of you are going to walk away and go, wow, I can see what they're working on. This is a potential for an event space and for crazy views later that you can see if you all want to tour. And downstairs is this, cavernous, incredible area that you could do so many things with. So it's really wonderful to see so many new faces and people getting in here. 25 years ago, my first 2 exhibits in the city were of the rail yard. I went and knocked on the door and asked if I could paint the rusty old wheels and the rails. And my first show, I have a picture, is, I'll pass it around, but this is a painting I kept, which I'm so glad. It's the Pease Grain building. And then in the background is the Moran Plant. So it was always just something about the wild woolliness that really attracts me. And I think, I love to paint the lake and the mountains, all the things that are beautiful, but they're already beautiful. So there's a translation there that's like, it's like kind of easy. And it's not easy, but to take this space, and as Giles said earlier, Giles is here, he said it's spectacularly ugly. And to be able to take something like this that's not inherently beautiful and make it into paintings that maybe are compelling enough that people are stopping and looking or wanting to look at them again or even wanting to hang them in their homes. It's like, it's hugely satisfying because this is challenging. This is not like the vase of flowers or the garden or, because it's not beautiful as we would usually describe. So I feel like this kind of goes back to 25 years ago when I first started painting in the rail yard. A lot of people ask, how did this happen? Like, how did you want to paint in here? And it was all Peter Owens, our CETO director. They had a little door back there open one night for a bonfire. It was February of 2013. The big garage door was open, and you could step in and look. And I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, it was rose-colored glasses because the gentleman who does the lights for fish had set up lights. So there was like pink twirling things and turquoise things, and they were changing colors, and it was pretty psychedelic. And I was just sitting there with my jaw like down to here going, you've got to be kidding me. This is what the Moran Plant is. That whole time I'm standing there, there's this incredible raccoon fight going on in the basement. And I don't know if you guys have heard raccoons when they get pissed off at each other. It's dramatic. So they are screaming and going at it, and I'm just standing there going like, and finally Peter Owens looks at me and goes, would you like to have a tour someday? And I was just like, oh my gosh, there's no way that that's not going to happen. I just heard you say it, and that I have to get in. So we just kept emailing to find a time that we could get in, because he wanted to hear what people with creative ideas might think of this space and what could be done. By the time we could all get together, it was February 8th, 2013, and it was like 6 o'clock at night. It was freezing. We all had so many layers on, and it was pitch black, so we had just the construction lights that you plug in, and they send up the lights. I had a big pole in case I saw any of those raccoons. So I had a couple ski poles with me, and we toured it in the dark with headlamps, and it was so stimulating, and as my mother-in-law calls it, it was so creepy. It was just like the coolest thing, and it was within about 24 hours, I just was like, you know, struck over the head with this idea. I was like, I have to do a show of the Moran plant. I have been wondering, like, what is the next thing I'm going to paint? You know, you want something thematic that has depth and that you can kind of really dig into, but, you know, what is it going to be? I'm just standing there with a canvas and like tubes of paint. I don't know what I'm going to paint next. It's just like, I don't know. So this was just like, it was like one of these beams hit me, and I couldn't believe what a gift it was. So then I'd have to figure out if I could get back in, and if I could get back in regularly enough that it could actually like happen. Pretty mind-blowing experience to be able to keep coming in here and seeing different things every time. Left is the blue, and then I take big brushes and just painted the whole thing blue, graded it down to lighter blue, and then hoped like hell it worked. So then I'm on a ladder. There's a video of it somewhere, and I just have to like get it and then pull the tape off and hope it worked. And you don't know, and you keep pulling, and it's like, oh my God, it worked. It was like so exciting to see that was like a way of painting that actually seemed to be something I could work on. And I'm sure I'm influenced from Lacey, who did all the interior animals in this space, which you all know the hummingbird on the side of American Flatbread, or the silos at Dealer, and she tapes everything off, and I just thought she was crazy, but I loved it. And so now I'm getting like a 1/4-inch tape and really enjoying like that process of pulling that away. This one is called End of the Day for Tom Carr. Tom Carr was the superintendent here for 25 years. And I picture this on a day that he's going home, say in December, when the sun is setting early. It's again the back of the building, and I'm using a lot of tiny little masking tape, but lots of layers first. And I'm seeing that light going through and liking to capture that feeling. Tom Carr knows everything about this building, and he has been just a wealth of information for us and an incredible treasure for us to have found him. And it's so exciting because we found him because of this art exhibit. We've even got an incredible video of him walking through the plant after all these years, and kind of the heartbreak of being here in this state that it's been, which to him is just vandalized, and what it's like and what he's like as a man. And it is, I think, a really fascinating piece. And I look at that, I always get really proud because we found him because of the art. You know, it's like it kind of brings things together. So that, I had to name that one for him. This one is another one that, again, I'm looking at these crisscrosses of the sailing mass outside. All of the grid work and the beams, I tend to paint pretty soft when I do my landscapes, but when I look up at these yellow beams, I just can't believe the intersections and how exciting they are. And that's where I got really into using the tape. So all of these, oh yeah, by the way, when you walk on this, it's not a trapdoor. We looked, and there wasn't Satan either. It was all just a couple. So lots of taping and dripping, and that's all this. I love all this stuff that's happening. Even this one, as abstract as it is, you don't have to look far to see it. It's like when I got in here, I'm like, oh, it is that color. Like I kind of thinking I'm making it up, like, and I'm close, but no, it's really that color. And again, just capturing that drippy feeling, and it's like kind of a segment of beam that kind of crosses through. This sea foam color on the back wall, you know, you think I'm being like cute, painting it like, no, it's like, it's really like that. And that just blows me away when you look around how many different shades of different greens and yellows and grays there are in the rust. These two paintings happened at the same time, and these were sort of getting me excited about just letting it go a little bit. My last exhibit, I spent a little more time drawing and trying to really capture the architecture of the interior, but with these two, I said, I'm just wanting to let it go and just see what happens, and I was really happy with them. My daughter is here somewhere, Sylvie, and she helped me name a lot of these paintings on the way down to see Beyonce. We had a 9-hour drive. This one says, I'm pretty sure they moved out. That's referring to the raccoons, but I've heard there's one upstairs now, so it's not always true. This one's called I Need a Dirty J, which is a really good drink at Maglianero. And Sylvie thought of this one. This one's called Would You Like to Make a Donation? I never would have thought of that. That's perfect. Genius. So we had a lot of fun titling them when you have 9 hours in the car. Although I admit she probably was sleeping before of it, but there's some great other. What are some of the other ones you did? All boats rise. When can we dig? Is there a diving board? Is there a diving board belongs to my friend here in Orange, Dan Cahill. That's his painting now. I named that because that's what my husband asks anytime we're going anywhere. Well, will there be a diving board? It's like, oh God, I don't know. Probably not. You know, can we still go? The big one on the end is partway down to Beyonce. I finally was like, God, you're being so weird and mysterious. And I was like, oh, write that down. That's the title. So that's the name of that painting. That one probably took me the longest. I've been working on it for a few years, and it's just it's like the puzzle pieces are lost, and you can't find them, and finally they show up. You know, and that happens, and you're like, oh, there it is. I asked my son to do the underpainting, but this one, he signed it really big. It felt like graffiti. It's like part of this building, and so I left it, which cracks me up because I was like, oh, I can't paint over it. It was just so funny to come in to ask him to do an underpainting and have him have signed it. I was like, oh, all right, wise guy, I get it. These spaces are downstairs if any of you get a chance to tour, and I just love them. And Suitcase Junket performed in one of those spaces, and we put lights all around it. There's so many of these little like kind of nooks that you find that to me are just so beautiful, and you can just see like using them in the future as this becomes a cultural center. This one is called This Is Not a Shark. Thank you, Sylvie. And this one I think is kind of interesting because it really captures that view of the stairway that comes down and all this grid work. So I'm using a big squeegee to pull the paint down over what I've painted on and then pull the tape. So that's been that whole style of painting has been really exciting. I think one of my favorite things is when art involves other things that aren't necessarily the same kind of art, and it happened recently because Todd Lockwood's here, and he's an incredible photographer, and he asked me to do a video piece, a cinema portrait, and I wanted to read to you what I wrote for that, and that's going to be opening on June 23rd, and you'll be able to see these large format, right, videos at Champlain College, but I think this explains a lot of like what I went through when I first came in here. As an artist, it's hard to be brave, to make a hard left when the road ahead is straight and smooth. 3 years ago, I walked into a dark, abandoned building on a bitter night in February, a derelict power plant. You could hear raccoons screaming from the basement. Despite the racket, I found myself mesmerized by the patterns of light and shadow that crossed over the ceiling and beams. Open stairways led to more darkness, but the structure and grittiness held my attention. Peeling paint from walls of decaying brick, soft, maize-colored cinder block met faded turquoise paint with unexpected beauty. I saw colors connecting, immense geometric shapes, blurred lines, and rugged textures. I had this intangible feeling that I had just discovered something profound. So that's, it goes on a little more, and so that's going to be really interesting to see, like, kind of put together your thoughts of, like, what inspires you as an artist when you come into something like this. For me, is just so crazy that it morphed into then people talking about what was going to happen to it and what was going to happen with the city, and then working with these guys, with Todd, Eric, and Charlie, and that whole Moran team to kind of make this happen. My intention was never to do that. It was just like I visually saw something that I really wanted to take a couple steps further and see if I could pull it off. And now I'm completely involved in making this a great space for Burlington, a landmark that'll be just, I hope, this huge cultural hub that we all come to and go, yeah, remember that? That was hard. I think the thing about getting this happening is we need to get the people on board, like, because you all own it. If you live in Burlington and you pay city taxes, it's our space. So it's not like we own it and we're going to do it. It's everybody. So we need to get everybody on board and psyched about it. So happy you all could come in. I'm really happy it's not just my mom and dad and me talking. Because, sorry, so this is amazing. I want a picture of all of you guys. Look at this. Hold still. All right, everyone, get yourself. Yeah, get together. That's amazing. I can't believe it.